Ladies, thanks for joining us on the Cousins Podcast, where we love raw, authentic, and transparent conversations. I'm your cousin Julia,
And I'm your cousin Lisa.
and today we will be talking about love and business with our special guest, Miss Tiffany Johnson.
Welcome, Tip. And
Thank
thank
you
you
for
for joining us
having me.
today.
Thank you for having me. I am Tiffany Johnson. I am the CEO of two companies. I own Success by Steps Early Learning Academy and also Top Tier Childcare Consulting.
All right, girl. Y'all ready?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Let's get into it. Okay, Tip. Or Tiffany. Which one do you prefer? Tip or Tiffany? You know, you tip to me.
Listen, everybody call me too. It's okay.
Okay. So we know you wear many hats and you
hmm
have many businesses.
hmm
Which you pretty much told us what they were.
hmm
Can you go a little more in depth as to, what they really represent?
Yes. So I have four preschools. So I have schools that serve children from 6 weeks to 12 years old, and summer camp programs, after school programs, all the kind of good stuff. And then I also have a consulting firm that helps people that desire to open up their own preschools. We have packages and we have a firm or a particular company that we partner with other people as well to help you from start to finish to open up your own and be successful at opening up your own.
That's awesome.
Pretty
Mhm.
cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, what made you get into preschools? Like, what was the passion behind that?
I really got into it when well, first I was a teenage mom, so I definitely tell people that I'm not ashamed of it. It happened. It is what it is.
Right.
I was a teenage mom, and my daughter went to a particular preschool, and I did not think that she was getting the care that she needed. So I ended up basically getting hired at her particular preschool, and just really just jumping in and showing like, hey, you can be a parent. But I think parents really know well, I was always an extra parent for starters. So I always wanted her, her clothes to be in her bag, like I had it, and making sure that I knew what was going on. So just because of that those things was going on at her school at the time, I just kind of jumped in and started working at her school, and I guess found a passion for it and realized like that was what was my calling. So I just jumped into it and did it and been in it ever since.
Oh wow, that's awesome. So how
That's
long have you been doing? I mean, how long have you been in the preschool industry?
17 years.
Oh wow.
Yes,
Okay.
it's been 17 long years. And even when I tried to leave, I still it ended up reeling me back in. So out of the 17 years, I was not in childcare for 6 months out of those 17 years. And I just been here ever since. So, and I have held like other positions, in other companies. So I have worked with two large companies
Mhm.
before I even got my own. So I was able and been blessed to be able to have every position it was to hold until I got my own. So I was very fluent in what to do and what not to do.
that's good.
Yes.
So all that experience helped you thrive.
Yes, I mean to a certain extent, because I definitely learned that being working for someone else and then having your own is two totally different ball games.
Mm-hmm.
So my experience took me to say, hey, I know what this position is supposed to do, this position is supposed to do. But when it came down to I am the 100% owner of this company,
Mhm.
and you definitely start to tread in territories and start to learn things that you never knew before, by having your own business. So
I got you. I got you. With that being said, so what would you say were some of the challenges you faced?
Um, I'm gonna tell you the same thing I tell my clients before they decide to jump into this entrepreneur thing.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you start working or really changing lanes or changing your career, you will start losing friends.
Mhm.
And it is very sometimes nerve wracking. It's very disappointing. When you start moving, you know, and you start, really being successful, people around you that said they was gonna help you, they, they love you, they're there for you, I'm so proud of you, be lying.
Mhm.
Realize that the same people that, your best friend or your first cousin or whoever it is, you just realize that they can't go with you. So that is a game changer and a life changing moment for a lot of people when they start going into entrepreneurship. That's most of the time what I, even with my clients, I tell them up front, and they end up calling me back either crying on the phone or upset, like what I supposed to do, because this one, was there for me for 15 years, and now I'm, moving different, and now they acting like, and I'm like, listen, it comes with the territory. People fall off, and it can be, devastating sometimes. To be able to, and sometimes when you go into the top, you got to go by yourself. And it's lonely at the top. I started with
Like-minded people, because I think that'd be the challenge when you were like starting. I'm gonna say from the bottom. I don't really like to use that term, but I'm gonna say that for lack of better terms. But when you're starting from the bottom, sometimes the mindset shift is just that's what shifts the people away.
because
everybody ain't meant to go on your journey with you.
Right. And but like I said, you got to think about it. If you've been, hanging with this person, or you've been best friends with this person, normally talk on the phone with this person every day, every other day, and then things start to change or they start to act different. It can be, very upsetting to a lot of people. It was upsetting to me. I didn't lose any. I can say for myself, I never lost anyone in a negative way. It was, I knew I was moving differently, and my life and just my lifestyle changed, and I couldn't do certain things or hang around certain people or go certain places anymore that my old friends or family would do. I just couldn't. I had to change. And I'm gonna say the largest, or the second thing, like once you kind of get into entrepreneurship, that's very challenging, is managing your money. Or knowing how to, because people, I'm gonna say how I grew up. I'm a country girl, and I wasn't raised with a silver spoon in my mouth. We didn't have millions. My mother worked 2 or 3 jobs to raise me and my brother. We I've been there, done that. So we always have, our family or our culture has always taught us how to be in survivor mode. Always taught us how to survive, how to pay a bill, how to rob Peter to pay Paul, but they do not teach you how to manage wealth. And that is very challenging when you start making money. When you start making 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, who is going to be there to teach you how to manage this stuff? So I did a lot, like my bishop used to always say, I spent a lot of stupid money. So I spent money on stupid things, whether it was cars, trips, clothes, just crazy. Because when you get a lot of money in your hand at one time that you never seen before, you kind of go crazy.
Right.
I tell people that win the lottery, they went from being broke to rich. What you think they're gonna do? They're gonna go crazy.
Right.
Especially if your mindset has not changed. So at the time when I started to make a lot of money, I only knew how to survive, but no one ever taught me how to, hey, when you start making this type of money, you need to put this money up here. You need to do this. You need to do that. It's okay to splurge a little bit, but you still need to budget. So that is definitely something that people have to learn, or need to find someone that has more than them, to say, to be able to help and guide them. Because I have, my company has almost went belly up twice, because I was spending stupid money. Or I didn't have money for, things that came up, because I was going on trips and I was buying cars, and, I was just, just helping the world. Being
Yeah.
So, those are the things that I would say that, people just need to take heed to at the beginning, and once you, get your, kind of get in your rhythm and start making the money.
I agree. And it's so funny because I was talking to my mom about that the other day, and I was like saying, was telling her about how some of, now looking back, hindsight, I realized how I haven't made the best financial decisions. And I was basically telling her, like, moving forward, I want to do more smart investments.
Mhm.
So I'm glad you spoke on that because I kind of needed that part. But yeah, talking about that the other day. Like they don't teach us that. It's kind of like you kind of have an inclination, but you don't know what you haven't experienced. So, like you said, getting somebody like a mentor, or just somebody around you that's a little more elevated in that arena than you can always be a plus.
Mm-hmm.
It's needed because, like I said, I couldn't. When I started going, making good money, I can say, it wasn't nobody in my family that I can go to. I didn't have a friend. I didn't have a family member. I didn't have an associate. I didn't have anyone that I can go to and say, "Hey, they just dropped 50,000 in my account. They just dropped 100,000 in my account. What I supposed to do with all these commas and zeros? What am I doing? You really do need it. But I think a part of that is people that are successful can stop gatekeeping and also understand that it's people that really need that need the knowledge that you have went through, or just some type of advice or something they can go to say, hey, don't do that, or hey, if you do this, or these are your options, you can still get the car that you want, but make sure that you eliminate this and this before you do that. Just having those people in your circle. And it's okay because a lot of people don't like to, well, I don't want to go to them because they feel like they're better than me, or how culture can be sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like crabs in the bucket, and it shouldn't be that way. So that's why the services that I give my clients in my consulting company, I say I can stay with them up to a year, making sure that they are successful and they're not making the same decisions that I made when I started making money. Because I do tell them, hey, listen, this money is coming, it's gonna come fast, and when they come, I'm going to be here to say this is what you need to be doing with the money. And for the most part, all of my clients listen when they get lump sums of money and stuff like that, and that's why they're able to still be here and be successful. So,
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
I got a question.
yes,
As far as your budgeting, like you said, you spent stupid money.
stupid.
Was that something you was able to figure out on your own as far as your budgeting, or did you seek, financial guidance?
Yes. So at the beginning, I started to, I'm gonna say this. I was shout out to my mother. She is really, really good with money, always have been. So I knew she was one that I can kind of trust. So I started to, because I knew I was bad with money, for a long time. I would like take my money and go put it in her hands and say, "Mom, let me get this money. Like I don't care how much I holler, scream, cry. Listen, if I ain't seeing the lights getting turned off, don't get this money." So it just taught me how to just um have self-control after a while. So once I kind of got the self-control part down, I was pretty much good with with my money and my finances. Now after a while, now once you start hitting some extra commas, you do need to seek financial advice. So for my company, I have a CFO, I have a financial advisor, and I have a CPA. So I have three people basically in my financial department that will be sure that we are running the way that we should be, and making sure that we're putting the money in the right places, and making sure that when we do, we have a return on the investment. Because once you get too big, you can't be the financial person anymore. That's a hat that you just can't wear. So when I got to a point where I would just get too big for my own, for my own stuff, and I wasn't able to handle it, I had to get outside help to help me manage what I have. I mean, it wasn't because I didn't know what to do with the money, or um, I was still spending crazy. I wasn't. It's just that sometimes when you have so much money coming in and you have a lot of money going out, and you have, you know, it's a lot that goes on in the operation. You need someone that can verify where everything is and make sure that the money that's coming in is the correct amount, and the money that's going out is the correct amount as well. And when you get to a corporation part, you also have to worry about people taking from you, people stealing from you. You have to think about, for me, we purchase groceries every single week. Each center has their own budget. Every center has their own, debit card with money on it. So, me, I can't always look at transactions every single week to say, hey, you went to the grocery store twice. Let me make sure you ain't buying grits and eggs for your house. So, so you need other people, to come in and just regulate what you have, and make sure that the money is being accounted for.
That's awesome. Look at you, Tim. Okay, girl.
It comes with a lot of trial and error now, but I can say I got it. Yeah, I got it.
I got you.
Yes. They said we have to learn how to delegate. We always want to do everything, think we can do everything.
You can't do it. And I'm gonna say this, like my first school, it took me a long time to really take my hands off my first school because that was like my baby. This is what got me out the mud. So I didn't, want to give it up, but I had to, because if you do not delegate, you will never work at your full potential. Because another thing that my bishop taught me, you can't be in the business and be the business at the same time. You can't do both. Because your for my position, or any entrepreneur, or future entrepreneur, future millionaire, whoever it is, you have to understand that your job as the owner or CEO of your business is to think, is to figure out what works, what's not working, what can I come up, something new that I can come up with, or how can I elevate my business year over year, quarter over quarter. But if you supposed to be the brain of the operations, you can't be working in the operations and try to be the brain. At the beginning, it's something that you should do because you have to work out the kinks. But once you get to a certain position where you're able to delegate, it's best for you to do that. Because I could not open up 4 schools by myself.
Right.
I couldn't do that. I could not manage my finances by myself. I can't manage schools and students and teachers and parents. I cannot do that by myself. So you do have to delegate. So now that I delegate and I put people in the right position, I'm able to take that moment and to think and to meditate and say, okay, God, what's next? So when it allows me, my mind to be clear, so as he downloading stuff on me, I'm writing it down and I'm already making a plan. So, now I already know what we need to be doing and what we're focusing on for 2025, because I have allowed the team to do their job while I sit back and allow God to download what's next.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Mm-hmm. So I want to talk a little bit about your work-life balance. Like, what does that look like for you?
We'll try. If I told you what I did on a daily basis, you would probably say I am crazy, I'm exhausted, and
So run us through a day.
And it's crazy because I just did a day in the life with a part of my media team. I think it was like last week from 9 to 1.
Oh wow.
And she was like, you do all this from 9 to 1? I said, yeah, my day got done. So it is it's necessary for you to have balance. I am just kind of starting to really, I guess, get adjusted to it. Because last year I only had 2 responsibilities. But the beginning of this year, I now I have 4 responsibilities. So my workload really doubled on me. So most of the year was challenging for me to learn how to adjust with 2 new responsibilities on my plate. So like I said, I'm just getting to it. But what I do is I have a calendar, and I set days. And I know sometimes it's I'm just getting to the point where I'm able to set days and say, hey, I'm off. Don't bother me if the building ain't burning down or the police ain't at the door. Don't come.
That's right.
So, but you have to have those days, just so you can be able to relax and say, you know what, like let me figure things out. And sometimes if you're not able to do that, even taking 2 hours every other day, or say, hey, I'm gonna take these 4 hours once a week, until you can kind of get yourself into days where you can kind of just have because the only way you're gonna have a balance is you work on you first. Because if you ain't 100% for you, you can't be 100% for nobody else, whether it's your family, your kids, your business, because you'll be all over the place. You will crash very, very quickly when you're trying to hold too much and just not think about yourself or have enough time to say, okay, I need silence, I need peace, I need something. And I one thing I've started doing this year too is I take little mini getaways by myself. So most of the time I will just drive to the beach. I will stay a night, and I will go to the hotel and do absolutely nothing but look out, open the, look out the window at the water, and I do have my laptop and I still work because that's just in me. I'm just a workaholic. But just me having that peace and saying, hey, let me order room service, or let me go, get a massage today is necessary. I'm able to do that now, but just having that balance, it is important. If not, you will crash and burn, and you will realize that everything around you is not moving, and it's only because it's you. Like I had to look at myself several times and say, hey, why the company's falling apart, or why the company's not moving forward after all these years. And I realized that I'm overworked, I'm burnt out, and I can't give proper leadership if I'm burnt out. So now I schedule once a week. I have a day off. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But it's my day off, and I'm not planning anything. So if I do have to work, it's because something came up and I have to take care of it. But it still allows me most of the day to kind of relax, and just get myself together and balance. And even with the kids, like I try to plan at least 1 or 2 trips with them, each year that they know I'm gone, so don't bother me. I'm home with my kids, or I'm out, with myself or whoever, just having a good time. So, and that's the part of delegation. Like if you delegate and you make sure the right people are sitting on the right side of your team, then you are able to take those moments to have that balance.
Okay.
Awesome.
So, being that you're successful and seems like very busy, how do you find the time to nurture your relationship?
Ooh, child. um, it can be challenging. It can be challenging. It has been. It's not easy. Because I'm gonna say this. It all depends on um your relationship, because everybody's relationship is different, and everybody I guess responsibilities or expectations are different. But sometimes if you, just for an example, if you are successful and the person that you're dating is successful, then you guys still have to find some type of balance, because you're busy, he busy. And so when you gonna have time to talk? When you gonna have time to have conversations? When you gonna have time to talk about the future? Or, hey, you made me mad the other night, or you felt so those things. So, you just still have to, you have to find what works for you. But if you don't have someone that is not as successful or not as busy, as you are, you still have to do the same things. Like, hey, what works for us, or when I can find time to slow down and say, this is your day. Whether we have date nights once every other week, or say, hey, I know you're busy, but I'm going to call and check in on you to say, hey, beautiful, or just to say, just to see how your day is going. You just have to really figure out what works for you, because everybody is so different. And also having someone that understands your workload can also be challenging too, because I didn't start off this busy. I started off with one school, and then I went to two, I went to three, and now I have a consulting firm, and now I'm the ministry lead at church, and we have kids, and so it's a lot that goes with it. But it's just really just communication, and knowing, like, hey, I am busy, but I'm here for you, and I can delegate some time for you. But just everybody has to evolve together. Because if I'm evolving and I'm successful, and I'm busy, but my partner is like, you doing too much, it ain't gonna work. They just have to really understand, like, hey, I ain't gonna stop.
Hey, okay, period.
Because
But you're gonna have to figure something out. You got to be understanding. So I think, as long as both partners are understanding, it can work whether you are with someone that is just as successful as you, or even if you're not with someone that is as successful as you are. Just having some type of understanding in communication. Communication is always key in any relationship, whether it's friendship, partnerships, or whatever. Like, you have to be able to communicate and know what's going on. Because I know for me, like, my issue was, I can't never plan nothing. Like, I just can't. Don't ask me to go to lunch at 12 o'clock because you're gonna be upset sitting by yourself. Because I can say I can go to lunch at 12 o'clock, but the chance of me being there at 12 o'clock is slim to none. Because my phones, I have two phones, they ring all day, every day. Like I said, certain things come up, and I'm just not able to be somewhere at a certain time all the time. Like, if we was to try to do this podcast during the day, it probably would have took us about 3 hours to get through it. Because I would have to stop, answer the phone, answer questions, figure this out, So, like I said, it's just really communication. Communication is key in any relationship that you have to figure out what works for you guys.
I got you. So, is having a mate of your caliber important? And if not, does that affect the relationship in a way?
Honestly, I'm gonna say it all depends on who you are. I am such a lover, and I'm not a materialistic person. So you having what I have doesn't mean anything to me. What matters to me is how you treat me and how you value me. Now, some women is like, listen, honey, I need him to be able to pay the mortgage. I need him to pay all the car notes. I need him to do this. But to be honest with you, the lifestyle that I live, the average man cannot afford. That's just being honest. So if I was to go get a man and he worked at FedEx, and he makes $18 an hour, he couldn't afford neither one of my mortgages. So what am I gonna do? If he treats me right, if he treat the kids good, you know what I'm saying? It all depends on what you value or what you feel like is important in your life. But like I said, some women want a man that, hey, if you can't come 100%, because that's the thing now. It's a 50-50 or it's going 100%, which one it is.
Right.
Or, baby, if your rent $1,200 a month, then I can, maybe you can get a man that can give you 100%. But when you're talking about, your mortgage or rent being $3, $4, $5, $6, $7,000 a month, what man can afford that?
Right.
So it just all depends on, like I said, what you need in your life. Now, I ain't knocking nobody that, my man gonna have to come 100%. But I also know, like I said, the lifestyle that I live, even, with, like I said, what I have, the average man could not afford that. But I'm not looking for someone to take care of me because I can take care of myself. Because what I can do for you, I can do, what I expect from you, I can do for myself. So like I say, just all depends on the woman. And I'm not knocking. I would never knock any woman that says my husband or mate gonna have to come 100%. But I know for me, if I was to say, hey, my husband or mate would have to come 100%, he would definitely have to be a millionaire.
I got you.
For him to be able to afford me and him.
Yeah, a little farther though, because caliber is, I don't want to just speak on the material aspect. What about the mindset aspect? Like,
absolutely. Yeah. Because the mindset definitely have to be there. And I would say everybody doesn't have an entrepreneur mindset.
right.
And it's okay. The part that they have to have, if you're going to be a partner, is communication and knowing and being understanding. That's really all you need to have, whether you're with someone.
I said, don't leave out the maturity part.
Yeah, they definitely have to be mature. I mean, because to me, if you can't be understanding and know how to communicate, if you're not mature, you know what I'm saying? Because most people that's immature don't know how to communicate, or they're very simple-minded. So you can't have a conversation with a simple-minded person. So there really wouldn't be no communication or minimal communication if they are immature. But you definitely have to be, you definitely have to be on your square. to be able to deal with someone that that is successful. And also don't be jealous of the person. And another thing is, believe it or not, women are like ruling the world right now. Like women are like breadwinners in the household now. It's not how it used to be, like granddaddy bringing home the bacon and grandma
Right.
just cook it up. Now you have some really strong heavy hitters as women in the world today. And
Mm-hmm.
so what you gonna do with that? What if your woman making six figures and you making 32,000 or 50,000 or 60,000 or 70,000 a year? You still have to be supportive to that woman and be okay as a man and still feel manly that your woman makes more money than you do.
Exactly. At the end of the day, we're a team.
We're a team.
Right.
I don't mind. I don't mind taking, maybe my 100,000 to your 50. That means we got 150 together.
But just know, if I bring that bacon, you gonna cook it.
You don't even want to get into that because a lot of times men have an issue with reversing gender roles.
Girl.
So it's okay to wash clothes. It's okay to cook. It's okay to clean up. It doesn't always have to be on the woman because I think back in the day it was always, like I said, granddaddy bring home the bacon and grandma supposed to stay home and cook and clean up and
Mm-hmm.
stay barefoot and pregnant, but
Right.
these days it's not like that. So you just knowing that whatever goes on in the household is both parties' responsibility. It's just not my responsibility to come home and cook. Because I'm not gonna put the responsibility on you to say, hey, because you make less money, you need to go home and cook, or because I make more money, I'm not going to do this. That's not how that works. It still takes two people to have open communication to make sure that whatever is going on in the household works.
You're right. You're right. But
It's
again,
also
I
about
bring
teamwork, though.
It's definitely teamwork. What you say, Lisa?
but again, if I bring that bacon, I'm gonna need you to go in there and fry it up for me.
You know what I'm saying? And
I cook too.
because I'm gonna say this, I'm a believe it or not, I'm a very submissive person. So even though I may, bring home the bacon, I definitely still don't mind washing clothes. I don't really cook like that, but when I do, I don't mind. I don't mind still cleaning up. You know what I'm saying? As long as you can still make sure the car's got an oil change, wash the cars, you know, fuss at the kids after I fuss at the kids, have my back, those type of things.
Yeah,
Those are the things that's important to me.
I
So I
got
can, so I'm, I was, because I think sometimes as successful women, we end up allowing, or our men feel like, well, you don't need me because you got
it.
this money, or they don't. It makes them not feel like a man. But honey, I still need a man.
Okay.
I can make the money all day long, but I don't want to have to come home and worry about oil changes and I need a new tire or not my tire flat or hey, the car need to go to the shop. Like, oh, I need shingles on the roof. Like, I don't want to think about that right now. So I still
Yeah.
want you to be the man. At the
Okay.
end of the day, and I can still be the woman that I need to be, no matter who makes more money.
You're right. I put a load in the wash before we jumped on here. We just do what we gotta do.
You got listen. It's called teamwork. You got to do what you got to do.
Right.
It don't matter because listen, the money ain't coming home and folding no clothes.
Okay.
So that means you're gonna have to make it work.
You're right.
That's true. Okay, so what's the next thing for you? Do you currently have anything in the works? Anything new coming out? I mean, I know you say you have 4 schools, so are they all over? Are they in
They all in
Columbia?
Columbia, yes. I this for 2025, I am going to take a small break from opening up schools because we purchased 2 lots. So we will be starting to build a new school next year. So I have to focus on that. Yeah, so I have to focus on that and making sure that the plans and the things that I want is in the plan. It's a lot. It's a lot of work, to deal with. Your company plus trying to expand, and now you're stepping into something new because construction is very new to me. So I never built anything in my life. So, just, having to deal with architects and, making sure that, your vision is on a piece of paper. And, just making sure that you have all the bells and whistles of what you need to make it happen. So, knowing that I am about to go into a construction phase, I am taking a halt on opening up more facilities for me. And as far as my clients goes, I'm still taking new clients. I try to take between 1 and 2 clients a month as I'm getting, clients off of the program and winging them off of off of me, for them to be successful. So that will still be here, but other than that, we still, going to continue to do what we need to do in the community, and still continue to try to change people's lives, and whether it's our parents or students or teachers or even our clients, and change their lives to the point where they're able to be future millionaires for themselves.
That's awesome. That's awesome, Tip. Good job, girl.
Yes.
Thank you. I try to do a little something sometimes.
Girl, you're doing it.
Yeah. And then also, and I completely foresee that's another thing. I wear so many hats and I do so much, I be forgetting. So, we have a new podcast as well. So we just got into that this year too. So between the schools and the podcast and the consulting company, and I'm gonna probably next year start to put myself out there a little bit more to do more speaking engagements. So that will probably be something new for 2025 that I will start up. But as far as schools, I am okay with my 4, at least for a year. And then after that, I will kind of continue to do what I do.
Yeah. What's the name of the podcast?
It's Top Tier Childcare podcast.
Awesome.
So yeah, and I hope y'all like y'all little gifts that I gave y'all. Did I send to you guys?
Yeah.
With the podcast stuff on it. But yeah, so our first season, we have not dropped that first season just yet, but we will be doing the intro of that podcast, the first of that podcast in the next few weeks. So I hope people can enjoy it, and I'll basically be talking about the same thing that I'm talking about with you guys. Being an entrepreneur, certain, aspects of the business that people, don't realize or need to see or need to hear about. That's what we'll be doing.
All right, girl. Well, tell everyone how they can get in touch with you.
All right, you can find me on Facebook at Tiffany Johnson Enterprises, or you can find me at Top Tier Childcare Consulting on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
Awesome. So first and foremost, she sent us some skills, y'all. Top tier.
Okay.
Our shirt. Y'all see it.
You kind of faded away.
So thank you for that. And thank you so much for coming on here and sharing your journey with us. And thank you, cousins, for tuning in to this week's episode. Please make sure that you like and subscribe to our YouTube and Spotify channel. Until next time.
All right.
Bye.